I'm dxthelb. Welcome to this special presentation of Rune News. 3 weeks ago, Jagex brought up the possibility of bringing back a combat system that existed prior to the launch of the evolution of combat. Jagex launched a special poll for all members and free players who used to play RuneScape before November 2012. Joining me to talk about the results of this poll is a very special guest from RuneScape Weekly, Magebit. Magebit, welcome.
Greetings, everyone.
Now, for those who don't know what RuneScape Weekly is, it's a podcast where Magebit and various players get together to talk about what's happening in RuneScape. Magebit, where can people catch up with you and RuneScape Weekly?
Thanks, DX. So you can find RuneScape Weekly in a number of different places. We have our website, which is runeweek.com. If you're more into the YouTube thing, you can also find us at magebit.tv, which links directly to our YouTube channel. And if you're a podcast listener, the easiest way to grab us would be to just go into iTunes and search for RuneScape Weekly. So we have a few different methods in which you can get our content, however you like it aggregated best. We have it all set up for you in those different categories.
I'll make sure, like everybody who's tuning in to watch this, maybe all of 10 people, tune in to actually check out your reports.
Much appreciated.
No problem. Okay, you ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Which way did you vote on the legacy poll?
My initial vote was very shaky. I was on the fence in the beginning, and I eventually went with yes for legacy. And I have a long, drawn out reason why I voted yes, and I won't go too crazily into it. But I thought, in the way that they presented it to us, it seemed as though it was non-intrusive enough that legacy at the very least should be attempted to be developed, because this was not promised as a release into the game. This was just, to see if they should begin development. And I say, hey, if we have the option to bring back more players, let's at least try it out and see how it goes. So I voted yes.
Oh yeah, that's a really good detailed answer. I like that one. Does the size of this result come as a surprise?
I was yes and no. I say yes and no because if you think back to when we had the wilderness and free trade kind of pseudo poll where they let everyone vote, when when pressing matters like this come up, it seems like everyone who's ever played RuneScape, even for 5 minutes, seems to come out of the woodwork and have an opinion on it. So I wasn't terribly surprised to see the sheer volume of people. I was amazed to see the split between like how much I believe it was what 80% said yes.
Yeah, it was 80% said yes, 19% said no.
Yeah, I was amazed at the amount of difference there was between the two. But the actual numbers themselves, I thought that was a fairly accurate representation of probably active accounts that are in the game at the moment.
Me personally, I was actually stunned at the size of the amount of people that voted. I think it was what 200,000 to 50,000.
Yes, it was a very large number. I'm pretty sure that is almost an accurate representation of probably how many accounts there are. Now, we also have to take into consideration that all of those accounts, some of them may be one person. We can't guarantee that every vote is unique, but it does kind of show, at the very least, how much, how strongly people feel about this topic, that they would take the time to either vote multiple times, or if they haven't played in forever, come back just to cast a vote.
After all the time that Jagex took defending the evolution of combat on the RuneScape forums and on social media, do you think the result of the legacy poll, which we are now seeing on the screen, is a fair indication of just how out of touch with the community they really were?
Well, I think this is an accurate representation of the higher ups in Jagex. I think a lot of the foot soldiers, per se, the ones who develop the content and actually play the game, on a regular basis, who don't really have much say in what they're actually developing. I think those people are pretty much not to blame is what I'm trying to say. Those people, you know, don't really have a say in it. I think this kind of is a reflection of the Jagex uppers being kind of out of touch with the game because they're not the ones who are playing the game or have to play the game, and they kind of just come up with ideas and just throw them at the wall and see what sticks. I think that this is a result of some upper throwing something out and saying we're going to try this because we want to be like all the other MMORPGs, and maybe that we can steal, players from other games touting this new combat system, not really staying true to the spirit of what RuneScape really is as a game.
That's very accurate. But then again, who dares question their boss?
Exactly. And that's why we have what we have, because even if the developers who are writing the code for it and testing it, even if they thought this is the worst idea ever, in the end, you're an employee of a company and you're going to do what you're told, even if you think that you are killing the game.
Yeah, that's that's right. Do you think some Jagex mods should fall on their proverbial sword now they know just how many people voted for Legacy?
This is a very good question. And in the history of reading RuneScape updates, when they announced Legacy, I forget which mod wrote the post, but they actually used the words "we're sorry" or "I'm sorry. It took so long for us to look at this and develop, a solution towards it." When they displayed that level of humanity, I feel as though somebody somebody did take the fall for it. At least that's what it feels like, because it's not often that you'll see a corporation openly admit that what they did may have been against the consumer's active opinion. So I think if if somebody hasn't already fallen on the sword, um, I'm pretty sure that this is definitely an accurate representation of the fact that somebody had to take one for the team on this one.
But isn't that the old phrase, sorry seems to be the hardest word?
Yes, indeed. And I guarantee you that you would never hear that from the lips of MMG, mod MMG. People, I feel like he would be the one who would come up with, an idea like this or be in charge of the team, force the developers to develop it and then go and blame all the poor developers. Like, that just seems to be how it goes. So, I just wonder who really took the blame for this one.
And there's probably a lot more fallout still to come.
Oh yeah, especially if we see the return of a large player base, which is going to be a huge "I told you so" kind of slap in the face. But sorry, continue on there.